What is up, my fellow skeletons? UnKellAble here, and welcome back to Contra Spem Spero. Now, this is a text-based horror adventure visual novel where we must travel through the roads through a deep forest in the hopes to escape. Now, if you remember, I did play the demo in this a while ago, but I didn't get a chance to finally play the fledged version. And the creator messaged me and was able to give me a skied link to this. So I'm excited, super stoked, and without further ado, let the adventure begin. The goddamn car broke down again. I did check all the parts before leaving. They're working fine then and are now, but it won't start. I can't just wait, not this time. Just in case I forget anything important, I'll use my journal and camera as always. Now I have to grab the backpack and go find some help. The essentials, my wallet, driver's license, and flashlight, are in my pockets. The gas station shouldn't be too far from here. I remember that. I decided to go down the road. Says here we got a Polaroid paper plus 50, a water bottle plus 1, pocket knife plus 1, wallet plus 1, driver's license plus 1, and flashlight plus 1. So the creator did let me know that there has been updates, and now there's actually ways to gain more Polaroid pictures. And there's actually going to be more of a survival mechanic in this, so I'm intrigued to see how this is going to play out. Go down the road. The road disappeared. I was walking straight forward without turning, and it vanished right under my feet, replaced by bare ground. The moment I realized that, I headed back, but still couldn't find it. I'm surrounded by trees. It looks like I got deep into a forest. Some glowing orange eyes have been following me for a while. If it's an animal, it's a really big one. I don't want to get to know it any better. There's no point in staying in one place either. I decided to keep walking, get some rest, or scream for help. I don't remember what I did last time, but I know I got murdered. Let's get some rest this time. I think this is what we didn't do last time. I think we get murdered in this one. Oh, that's not good. I decided to rest beside the nearest tree and feel less tired. Not sure if I should wait here until morning just to see anything. The path I'd been following had also disappeared. No sign of it anywhere. Night has come. The darkness is overwhelming, and the reading light doesn't quite help. There's nothing much I can do right now. I can't believe this forest was always this deep. Surprisingly, it's not so cold out here. Maybe I should... What in the actual hell was that? The moment I let my guard down, I heard some screeching. I had to run away blindly and ended up losing a thing or two. I lost a wallet, driver's license, and flashlight. Oh, okay, that's a big no. When I realized exactly which things those were, I was about ready to lose my mind. If I can't find them later, I swear to God. Damn in the surroundings. There is also multiple endings in this. I think there's 4. I think there's, what? A good ending, a bad ending, a true ending, and a secret ending. This forest is full of wild animals. It feels as if my every move is being watched. I changed my mind about staying in one place. It may be too dangerous, especially in such a conspicuous one. How ironic. I find myself in a clearing. Wish the road were right behind that tree line. I think I see someone standing next to it, but I'm not sure if they're facing my way. If I call out, this person won't be the only one to know my location. Got an idea. The flash may attract their attention. It did. Looked like they waved at me. When I got closer as carefully as I could not to make too much noise, the silhouette became more vague. I asked in a whisper if they knew how to get out of here. There was no response. I'll glance at the photo to make sure I didn't imagine things, and I'm not talking to a human-shaped tree snag. New one. You're gonna die, near fool. You're gonna die. He's mine, fresh meat. Don't run, pointless. Shush boss is here. This cannot be happening. I'm gonna pass out. Oh, demons! Faint. I decided to... Well, I didn't. I just passed out. When I regained consciousness, I still couldn't understand what happened exactly. What was that? The last thing I saw was those orange eyes I'd already spotted earlier. I felt too scared and weightless to do anything. An old man brought me back to my senses. He said something about being trapped in this forest for a long time, too. But I didn't. Actually, I don't know if I can believe myself at the moment. He's leading me somewhere where it's always safe. I had no choice but to follow. He said they'd come back if I refused, and also commended my ability to deftly record things in any conditions. I'm well aware of its value. Still, I prefer to think events through before writing them down, even if sometimes it's even more complicated than doing that at once. We reached a camp. The tents here are obviously handmade but look neat. The man introduced himself as Rob. He gave me a folded paper sheet and said, "Here, take the thing. Maybe you'll find a better use for it than I did. Don't forget your old man when you find a way out of here, eh? I sure hope you will." There was another one inside, but empty. The first one turned out to be a shabby, hand-drawn map. Did it really depict the forest in it? I should use my cam more often, to have at least some idea of my surroundings and check it. Hopefully. But not to overdo it. I still have only a few pieces of Polaroid paper left. Or I could just wait until morning. Not that I feel safe in the presence of another human. Still a stranger after all. When I took a photo, Rob got closer and said, "What you got there? The camera? Look like an owl to me. Bizarre photos you have there, buddy. Cam has a flash, eh? I ain't seen one when you took me a picture. That's the way light works here. Or doesn't. Who knows? Depends on what the force wants you to notice. That could come in handy, so cling to that thing." Dada's ability to give valuable advice, but I'll keep it in mind. Moreover, the thing was too expensive to buy and not to cling to now. Talk to Rob. Rob. I decided to ask him about himself. He answered, "Yep, it's me. Been stuck in this hell of a forest for centuries, that's for sure. When I'm getting younger, you see, it becomes difficult to keep searching for a way out. I haven't seen another human in a long, long time." Yes, he will not be much of help in getting out of then. I asked him about the camp. He answered, "It is safe. I've never been attacked here. Maybe the fire is scaring them off. Too risky to check, so I keep it burning all the time, you see." I asked him about the forest. He answered, "It's a cruel one. I was even younger than you are now when I got stuck in this prison of a forest. Can you imagine that? Never wanted to last so long when I was free. Something makes me hold on to life here. Still, it's nice to sometimes meet other folks here, even if they don't stay for quite as long. That's why I hope you'll be the one to finally find a way out and surely let me out this place too. I don't want to die here and become one of them." What's wrong with this place? I asked him about the creatures I saw before passing out. He answered, "Right. Some indeed call them creatures. You see, buddy, it's a lot of different folks in here. They're only creatures. I call them pups personally. Wicked pups. There are more clever ones, shadowy ones, those things in the sky, and those under the water. And here are friendly ones, like you and I. But most of our kind just vanish so quickly you ain't had a chance to even get to know them better. Luckily you ran into me soon." I didn't dare object. Alright, before we go to sleep, we have 48 bottle, and we don't got really much. We lost like a lot of our items. I wonder if we had the wallet, if it would tell us maybe who we are. I don't know. I don't know if that's really a matter or point in this. Or maybe that's one of the endings. We have to finally find out who we are. Okay, these are like our handwritten notes that we do throughout the game, I think. Okay. Okay, these are the notes that we can personally write. So like objectives, anything like that, what we're looking for. I think these are for like hints for puzzles, if I remember correctly. So if we ever find like a puzzle or a jigsaw or whatever, it'll write down like what it says as a rhyme or reason for us to come back to later. And then here's the map. So last time, if I remember correctly, we made it to the lake, which means we still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We had 21 more areas to go, plus all the secret ones. Alright. Let us get into it. Talk to Rob. Oh, wait, no. Get some sleep. I decided to sleep until morning in one of the tents Rob obligingly pointed out. Maybe this place won't be so gloomy in the daylight, and I'll be able to get out faster. When morning came, there was no light. Pitch darkness, just as before, covered everything around me. Rob was sleeping near the fire. I woke him up and asked what was going on. He said, "There's no light in my misery." "Yours doesn't have it either?" I went back to sleep without further explanation. I guess I need to figure it out myself for now. Alright, let's leave. I decided not to waste time and explore the forest further. As I was leaving the camp, Rob called out, "Since you're all set to go, mind bringing me my ladle? I can't stop thinking about it. Can't stir me no good apple soup without it." "Why apple?" "'Cause it's all you can find to eat in here, damn it. I lost it just near the next place marked on the map after my camp. And you probably have better eyes, so I'm sure you can do that. Oh, and grab me some wood. Though I have plenty in stock, I made sure of that. Chop chop, all these years just like that. But be careful out there with the folks. They're everywhere. And return here to rest from time to time. You gotta keep your progress in mind, yeah? And it ain't possible with no good sleep, unless you're keen on pointlessly making the same mistakes over and over again." Not sure what that meant. Anyway, I'd better check on the map now. And so we begin. The map looks weird and awfully simplified. I'll see if it's accurate. Hope I'll be able to find my way back to the camp when I'm done. It took me some time to reach this supposed location. A dilapidated swing-like contraption lay under a tree. I soon realized it was some kind of broken animal trap. Sharp stakes chaotically stuck in the ground nearby, only confirmed by guess. Now, to find what I was asked to. It'd be better to stick to certain tactics if I want to get out of here quickly and with extra help. Apart from the camp, the forest is pitch black. I'd capture everything at once to avoid missing anything. But I have to manage my Polaroid paper. I don't know how much I'll need. Rob and those things definitely won't have any to lend me, will they? I decided to take a photo. Don't know how to explain it properly, but after going off, the flash from my camera seems to freeze in time, or create an invisible light source that continues to illuminate the surroundings. Even if faintly for much longer than it should, the nearest objects stay visible. To me somehow. I soon spotted the ladle, almost glowing because of its metallic texture. It was weird, to say the least, having a neck too wide for the bowl to be suitable for containing liquid. And made too? I also noticed a cage trap with something barely visible inside. It was closed, and there was a set of buttons on either side, likely used to unlock it, but I didn't know the right combination. And you can click on here to look at the photos. I left. So if I remember correctly from the demo, we needed the ladle, which we have, so one ladle. And then that's complete. And then he said we needed wood. And then I think it was an apple. He said we needed like apple for apple soup. So we'll just keep in mind for that for later. All those failed traps made me paranoid about stepping into any others that might also be present, still working around the forest. So I stared at the ground, determined to notice the smallest change in its texture, until I did. It wasn't a trap, however, but numerous thin trails lacking grass, as if something small had been dragged. I couldn't see far. I crouched to examine the trails better. They led in different directions and were occasionally interrupted by shallow pits, the nature of which I couldn't identify. They were too neat to be dug manually. Sure. After I took a photo, I noticed a battered paper sheet covered in sand under my feet, saying, "I like digging holes and hiding things inside them. When I grow all the hope, I won't forget to find them." Also, a few pits among the trails had a tiny wildflower heads placed inside. The rest, empty ones, had only indentations of different kinds, round, square, resembling small buttons. Look around. Finally decided to look up and around. Can't say if it's important, but I found a set of dots nearly unnoticeable on a tree bark. What could it possibly be? So I remember this. So in the demo, we couldn't do anything with this. The puzzles weren't really finished. So in the full game, there's ways or things that we can do with them that I'm not sure what yet. I'm not sure yet. We'll come back to that. And there's something we could put in the pit. Last time I put a Polaroid picture in there and didn't do anything, so I'm not going to touch that just yet. I'll come back to that later. I approached what appeared to be a simple, half-demolished building. Its roof gone and piles of bricks scattered across the floor. Despite the first impression, it turned out to be way more complex and crooked, with its uneven structure and unnaturally extending straight into the thicket. When I stepped inside to check if I could find anything useful, something crunched loudly under my feet. Felt almost like stones, but sharper. I froze. It may be dangerous to go further, especially blindly. I have enough Polaroid paper to take another photo. I decided to... Alright, so the ruined building. I remember this really. There's a character we find, I think, later down the line. I think it's either here or right here. And this is his home. And when we take a picture, it's going to be a lot of bones. So we're going to see, like, dead people eating bones. So I don't know if we want to do... Because this is our sanity bar, right? So if this goes up, we die. And then this is our health bar. So if we find anything that's scary, we might go insane. And I don't know if I really want to take that yet, because I want to save our sanity bar for when talking to the monsters and stuff. So I think I'm going to wait. You know, last time we said, let's just try something new. Let's just proceed blindly, see what happens. Oh, okay. I decided to move through blindly and got another few scratches, but that was bearable. Aside from the debris, the rest of the building was empty, so I turned back. It was human bones. I stepped on one of the hundreds, fully covering the floor. Some still had flesh on them. I sprinted out immediately, thinking the culprit might be in the building, and I didn't notice one in the darkness. Besides, I spotted something shiny among the remains when the flash illuminated them. But should I? Yes, the hell we should. I took a closer look. Apparently it was a palm-sized glass vial, hollow inside but entirely solid with no opening or cap. I took it with me despite it being useless. I decided to look around outside the building and by the entrance, found nothing in particular, except I did notice the ground was trampled in several different directions leading to the woods. Alright, so the vials. So if I remember correctly, the vials we can use to collect souls. And there's this lake right here is like the soul of lakes. So we can probably collect these souls and we can give these vials to these monsters. I don't remember if the theory was the souls make the monsters more human. I don't remember. But we'll get more into that later on when it's further explained. I left. Moving through yet another cluster of trees, except these appear to be all thin, with leaves occupying their top only. The sky is barely visible here as well. Nothing. What was that sound? Like an animal roar. A painful one. I carefully follow the source. The poor thing is bent to the ground, groaning quietly. It's not so big, and I can't tell what kind of animal it is. I'll make sure before approaching it. I decided to take a photo. No. Anything but that. It wasn't an animal. It resembles the creature I saw earlier. It has a long, thin tail. Its body is unevenly covered with fur. And the torso is dripping with something black. And one of its horns seems to be broken. Its lower jaw. I can't see it. Words appeared on the photo when I took it. I didn't immediately understand what that was. Help, help, help. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this guy. If we help it, we get bit. What happens if we do nothing? I decided to do nothing and just wait. Suddenly it jumped up on its feet and got closer to me, nodding, actively and pointing to its temple. I feel dizzy. It's difficult to understand what the little demon is trying to say. He seems interested in my journal, too. Watching me closely as I write this down, and is probably as well surprised as I am by the fact I hear him speak using photos and on my ears. I couldn't ask for the details, but if the blank space on the Polaroid runs out, I might need to take another photo. Help, help, help. Oh, I don't remember this voice. Hold on. Help. Help, help. Smart one. What are these photos? You unlucky bastard to be able to hear me, so... Listen up then. I need souls badly, and you do if you want to get out. Bring 5 from the lake. Tried to talk to LD. I remember this guy. Yet he shook his head when I tried to ask something and seemed to be in a hurry. When I was ready to leave, he passed me a handful of vials looking just like that one I found inside the ruined building, except a lot dirtier. I wonder if those are used for obtaining the souls or whatever he was talking about. I didn't get to ask him that. He's already gone where I came from. I don't see anything notable around, except for a trail of blood starting where LD was lying and leaning behind the bushes. I left. Natural arch. At first, the path ahead was eerily empty, devoid of any particular features. Trying to make out the scribbles, I used the map repeatedly to check I was walking right. Soon, one of the next marks was explained to me by a series of balanced stones that started appearing one by one on both sides of me. They were flat pebbles forming small, thin towers scattered around. Then I reached a natural arch formed from the interlocking branches of towering trees, as if deliberately twisted into place. An end of the rope wrapped around one of them was hanging down invitingly. I could reach it if I jumped. Sure, I think I'd take damage here. Oh no. Probably expecting something extraordinary to happen, I decided to pull the rope. Most of it remained tightly fixed above. Well, if I ever need one, I could return there and cut some off. My chest began to hurt. I thought maybe it was caused by yet another supernatural force disturbed by my actions. But no, I was simply hungry. I hadn't eaten for days long before I got into this forest. Damn that stress. If things get worse, I'd always check my backpack for some food. That is, if I ever find something sustainable to eat. Oh, I think that's might be new. Because I don't know, we never got into the like how to restore your health or your sanity other than like sleeping. So I wonder if we can like eat to restore stuff, because I don't even know if sleeping restored our stamina or not. I don't remember. I took a photo and noticed the patchy bark coverage had numerous claw marks, darkening it with something slimy. In some places they formed perfectly shaped rectangles. I counted 8 of them. It immediately made me think of the framed 8 on my tie. Remember how it was embroidered on the backside of it a few years ago. Now I'm late. I'm so fucking late. What does it matter now? I might as well throw the thing away right in the hair. So I did. Doesn't matter. I just want to go back. I decided to leave. I left. Wait, I'm curious. Have we read anything down from this? No. What we can do is we can put here that I need a code. A code or a cage? Possibly dirt pile? Not sure yet. So I don't know, because I remember you could, like I said, I put the Polaroid in and it didn't do anything. So I'm wondering if I get like a soul vial, if I put that in the pit, maybe it would do something. Because I feel like this forest is alive. It's watching me, waiting patiently. I don't know. Like my soul, dark, pointless, foresty. I think once we get to about before we enter the snake forest, we can go back to camp and get some sleep. My goal is to try and make it back to the lake as fast as possible so that we can experience the new features in the game or the new levels. But I'm sure there's going to be a ton of things that we didn't get to experience in the demo. I always feel like somebody's watching. Time feels distorted in this forest. The sky's still dark, just like when I got here. Already growing close to one another. The trees around me became increasingly bent, to the point where their branches and even trunks intertwined, as if bowing in a dance. In the end, they formed a fairly steep climb, which was the only way to proceed. It had some gaps I couldn't see through because of the dense foliage. Avoid the gaps or use them as footholds. I think I avoided the gaps last time. You know what? We're feeling a little risque in this version, so let's go to footholds. I decided to use them as footholds. It worked out well. The way up was less challenging than I initially expected. Soon I was able to walk as the treetops leveled out. I almost forgot those were not just usual ground, probably because there was nothing particularly remarkable up high, quite the distance covered. I didn't see the sky clearly, but as a thin, vibrant blue line, the area was surrounded from both sides by even larger trees, unevenly towering over the ones under me. I wonder if there's something hidden underneath. All the leaves prevent me from confirming or denying it, and the flash wasn't enough to dispel the darkness between them for some reason. I can't say if it was an illusion, a fall of my inattention, or memory, but before I knew it, the trees under my feet were in fact replaced by ground. The thought made my head spin, and I continued walking. August 23rd, Thicket. To top it all off, it started raining. I tried to concentrate on my surroundings and ignore the fact that I was soaked, as well as the noise around me. In an instant, a haunting sense of someone else's presence struck me. I turned around abruptly, trying to determine its source. Almost immediately, a gaze of glowing orange eyes met mine. The massive silhouette of their owner, standing motionlessly, towered over me even from a distance. I couldn't help but smack the cam's shuttered button immediately to capture it. I had to take a photo. I knew it was another. Whatever this thing is, it looks moth-like, with those antennae and the cloak, or wings, I'm not sure. It has 3 eyes and a face resembling a bony mask with an unnaturally wide mouth. Can't say if it's really friendly or just pretending to be. And so we meet. Speak to me if you will. There are no limits to my words. However, I do believe you are aware of those your memory has. Talk to Moth. I decided to ask him about himself. Apparently he wants neither to help me nor to kill me, but I'm sure I could use any information he might share. I am not here to help you, as you were doomed the moment the Forest decided so. Yet I'm here to observe your struggle, reasonable or not, until the moment you die at the hands of another. Sanity? I tried to ask him about the effect I felt after talking to LD, but couldn't quite explain it, and he stopped me mid-sentence. He said it's called spiritism. Don't know why. I don't feel it being affected by him. You humans adore attributing terms to things you do not understand. So let me simplify it for you. The others call it spiritism, the impact you may get from dealing with the dead. The higher it is, the more your physical body dissolves. The last stage is death. In case you did not figure that out. LD. I asked him about LD. He proved he was human before turning into the creature he is now. He is a creature, a former human transformed after his death in accordance with the one of the 2 possible outcomes. Not the one he expected or wanted, that is for sure. And I asked him about Rob. He appears to be annoyed that he wants to escape the forest. An old fool that is still clinging to the hope of escaping. What a waste of time. I asked him if he knew anything about how I could escape this place. He told me to forget the possibility. I'm not giving up just yet. What could a man like you possibly change in the established cycle? They all made decisions according to their own moral compass. You do, you die, and Forest claims yet another victim. I merely tell you the truth. It is your choice to accept or deny it. There is no escape. Alright, leave. I decided to leave. He insisted that he accompany me. Couldn't risk refusing the offer, so we walked side by side. His presence made me anxious, but not as much as the option of being killed by someone who I couldn't even try to convince not to. Strangely, his words disappeared and replaced with new ones on the Polaroids, unlike LD's. Venturing further into the forest, we came across a small open space, its ground completely covered by something glistening. The amount of moonlight was not enough for me to distinguish what that was exactly, but it looked like thick vines at first. When I got closer, however, those turned out to be whole piles of snakes, which caused me to immediately step away, bumping my back against the damn overgrown moth who, surprisingly, hadn't yet killed me by then. I almost forgot he was there in all the silence. Take a closer look at the snakes first, or check the photo of Moth. Let's do Moth. I checked the photo of Moth to see if he could still tell me anything else. He said there was no danger, and when I looked closer at the snakes, I noticed they were all motionless. Moreover, some were tied in a knot. Do not be afraid. We seem to hold no interest to them. Alright. I wasn't in the mood to get bitten, and one of them eventually decided to pay attention to me, so I carefully walked past them. Doubt there was anything useful among them too. Be careful what you pick up the next time as well. Scaredy cat. Not a single one of the snakes is moving here. They seem frozen. Their heads turned to the side and eyes peering at the sky. I reflexively lifted mine too, but noticed nothing unusual up there. Decided to leave. Moth nodded slightly and stayed where he was, so I could calm down a bit, knowing he was finally off my back. Until we meet again. Alright, I'm gonna head back to try and save my progress. If I remember correctly, if we go further, we might get in some... Or maybe it's the way back. I don't know. Let's see. Oh no, we did it. Talk to Rob. Rob's ladle. I emptied half my backpack trying to find the ladle, but when I finally did, Rob grabbed it out of my hand cheerfully and said, "Yeah, boy, that was almost lost all my hope by now. But you're a promising fellow. Look, there's another problem you absolutely have to help me with. Just want some apples. 5 more, so I can make me some good soup. Bring them to me, or else I'll soon faint from this damned hunger. Won't be able to get to help you to get out of here. 5 apples. I don't remember seeing a single apple tree around. See what I can do." But he said 5. It's always in a stage of 5, it seems. 5 apples. Probably needs 5 wood too, huh? We'll just put it as question mark wood. I don't know how many he needs. Cage trap near swings. I asked Rob if he knew how to open the cage trap near the swing, since it was his doing. He said, "Of course I do, but I ain't got a clue now. In fact, I forgot that right after the trap finally caught something. Can you imagine? But I'm sure you'll crack it. You're a clever boy. Just listen to the heart." Useless. LD. I asked Rob if he knew something about the little demon I ran into and described his appearance. Rob said, "They're all no good. Scary things. This one's a spoiled, nosy pup. Always trying to get him attention. But I never deal with him." What about Moth? I asked Rob what he knew about Moth. He shook his head and said, "Well, ain't that one's a menacing fellow. Can't find a proper slipper against a bug that big. Nothing else." I asked Robert about spiritism, so I explained it to him in other words. He said, "Should have reminded me earlier. The thing's dangerous. That's why you don't want to speak to the folks. They're pulling the mind out of you. Not every one of them, of course, but the most. And if there's no speaking to hurt your mind, there are still sharp claws and teeth to hurt your body." Alright, get some sleep. I squeezed my way through a tangle of twisted trees. Before one last push forward, I slide back to where I started. Pinned beneath the tree trunks, I lie between their sprawling roots as dead leaves slowly drift down and, layer by layer, bury me along with any hope of ever found. Alright, well, we're awake. It's a good old morning. Beautiful raining morning. Actually, what time is it? Currently August 26th at 9:51. All right, well, I guess we're just gonna head all the way back. I slid into the next place marked on the map on a carpet of bent stems, roots, and grass. The latter clung persistently to my clothes, but I didn't attach more importance to it than that. At the bottom of that funnel-like space, there happened to be a freshly fallen tree, which I'm using now as a stopping point to write this down. Look at the tree, search the tree crown, take a photo, leave. How many Polaroid pictures do we have? We still have 40. It's kind of a half and half. I mean, we used 10. How many locations have we been to? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10. We're still doing okay. Let's take a photo. It's still working. After I take a photo, the light stays, well, in the air, around. How do I even explain this? Search the tree crown. I decided to check the tree crown and search through the branches before pulling out a bird's nest full of eggs. I took it with me to bring to the camp so Rob could look after the yet unhatched nestlings while I was gone. Look around the tree. I decided to look around the tree, and my hand brushed against the velvet texture of a small old black hat lying under the vegetation. It was decorated with 2 fake roses and a pin with a precious blue stone. We didn't pick it up, though. Alright. Leave. I left. We're almost to the ghost house. I'm excited for that one. That's where we start to get a lot of answers. Singing trees. The wind picked up, carrying a deep, prolonged melody that overlapped with the muffled pounding from somewhere below, like rain on the roof, but each time heard from a different side. I found myself among the dead trunks of a grove, similar to the others I had already encountered on my way. Except here the trees were especially old and marked by cavities which were the sources of those ringing sounds. When gusts of wind came through them, they responded with a shaky hum. I decided to look around, listen to the rhythm of the rain, or take a photo. The place looks lifeless. Its gray surroundings pointlessly wobble under the unchanging night sky. If it rains, I have no place to take shelter, and the camp's too far to make it back quickly enough. I tried to find something worthwhile. At some point, out of the corner of my eye, I saw one of the dirtiest trees instantly and silently vanish into thin air. Still confused by my reaction. I felt strangely different the entire time I was there. Though I didn't pay the slightest attention to that. Instead, I was drawn to a wet paper sheet lying on the ground. Where once was lying silence, wounded heart of sorrows, full of aspiring thus to feel alive, embedded deep within. Okay. I still never figured out what that one was. Where once was lying silence, wounded heart of sorrows, full aspiring thus to feel alive, embedded deep within. I never figured that one out. Maybe... I'm not sure. We'll have to come back. I left. Hollow. The next place was reminiscent of a dull hollow, despite the slopes not being so steep or large enough to belong to one. At their base, where I was, there were no trees to the very horizon, or at least I couldn't see them. I invariably bumped into what I believed to be tree trunks every time I startled to budge. It reeked of autumn there. Abundant falling leaves swirled around, disorientating me even more. I decided to take a photo so my body wouldn't suffer through any more bruises, but it was of no help. There are no trees in this hollow, but it doesn't prevent me from sensing their not so obvious yet definite presence. As for the leaves, it's like they're falling from the sky instead of rain. I also noticed a whole lot of ants circling on the ground here and there. Good thing I did that before crushing those of them still alive. I decided to take the risk and look around the place. Sadly, among all the invisible trees, I didn't find a single invisible hint concerning how the fuck I was supposed to leave this forest behind at long last. But then I kicked something moving through a pile of dry leaves, and that something turned out to be a neat gun, 2 full magazines for it. We can shoot things now. All that carefully wrapped in a cloth, I'd recognize it anywhere. Smith & Wesson Model 39-2. I remember those being fresh on the market. I took it with me, of course. I didn't question how the gun could have ended up there then. I don't question it now. It's not what matters most. Feeling my way out of the hollow, I proceeded. I want to go back. I returned to the ruined building and noticed LD beside it, easily recognizable by the silhouette of his horns. When he approached, I stepped back reflexively. He was quite different from how I remembered him. The first time we met, he barely reached my shoulder. Now he was looking at me from up high. He did look more threatening, but he still clearly expected me to help him with the souls, so had no intention of hurting me, I believed. I hesitated to ask about the sudden change in appearance, and a moment later, he looked as he had before anyway. What's the matter? I don't bite, mostly. I asked him about himself, which he seemingly didn't expect. I explained that I pretty much accepted I went crazy the moment I saw him again, but I was curious about what he was exactly. You're not scared? No. Am I crazy breakdown? Finally. I was like you one day, and now I am what you see I am. I decided to ask him why I always felt dizzy after talking to him. Why did he call me like that? No can do about that. Lucky 13. You fragile mind ain't used to speaking with such powerful beings. Especially one like me. Asked him about all the souls things. For you, it's the key to escape. Sooner you master them, higher chance. You'll see. In my case, it's a cure for my sick thoughts. It's like heroin. I asked him if he knew how I could escape the forest. I know I can't do that anymore. Now we both need souls, but for different reasons. You're the first one in a long time I've given this chance to. I believe in ya. So search for him already. I asked him about Rob. Who? Another one. You could have used his help too. But the old fart is as stubborn as it can get. Moth? I asked him about Moth. Big head, never even looks at me. Why bother? Fucking hell, and he could be such a team. I left. Right one was left. How many? 1337, maybe? It's the only thing I can think of. Right 1, left 3, right 3, left 7. The code is 1337. We'll come back to that. I'm gonna go with it's a code though for something. Maybe it's a code for like a safe. It's the only guess I can come up with. As I swatted away the leaves that kept falling off my head, I suddenly discovered a piece of paper among them. A riddle was there. I wrote it down in the corresponding section of my journal. What? Oh, right here. Turn your back, look away, blink. I'm always closer than you think. I hold the stars, the moon, the fright. Above your head in my eternal night. What am I? So I'm gonna stick with darkness as the answer. I don't know if there's like, if you type in the answer, if something will happen, or if it's just for me to keep a tracker of it. But the answer is darkness. That's what I'm going with. I just don't know how to confirm it. I handed Rob the bird's nest found near the fallen tree and asked him to look after it since he usually stays at the camp, unlike me. He placed it on one of the boxes and said, I'll take care of them, alright. I asked Rob what souls were, and how to master them. He looked at me concerned and said, "The pup talked to you, didn't he? Ain't no good listening to him. Twisted mind that one has." Get some sleep. I finally escaped the gas station. Once out of reach stands right in front of me now. Realizing that nothing holds me back anymore, I slowly walk toward it. But with every step it becomes more difficult. Fear creeps up my spine, growing heavier, until I can no longer move. Frozen in place, I watch vegetation overgrow the surroundings. Trees pierce the station, tearing it apart. A creature runs past me on all fours without even noticing my body. I'm so very tired. This force has no end. Alright. Let us go to the house of... Oh, actually, you know what? Okay, yeah, so our health went up and our sanity went up. Okay, good. So let's go talk to this ghost thing. House. Following the map gets pretty tricky. I mainly use the gaps between treetops to navigate between the places, listing the areas where the sky is clearly, barely, and not at all visible and arranging them in the right order to recall on the way back. All I can see aside from that is a bunch of pitted black silhouettes and shapes almost all of the time. Notice one resembling another building. When I got closer, it turned out to be an oddly looking long abandoned house with a porch and everything. At that point, I was sure I could stumble across anything here. As if the forest had trapped not only people, but whole houses, cities, or whatever. I walked in and the sounds died away. The place is all dusty. The boards are uncannily dry and pointy. There's someone standing right in front of me. Decided to take a photo. God fucking damn it. Are those things getting uglier on purpose? Well, this one is tall and slim and extremely pale with a long ghostly hood descending evenly over his body. The flash was not enough to illuminate the lower part of his face. Neck and abdomen, the vague, dark clothing draped over his hips fully covers his legs, its hem reaching the very floor. Do I know you? I answer no. I decided to answer his question negatively as it was the truth. He tilted his head slightly as if examining me. I think I'm not in any danger, at least for now. Seems to have a particularly interest in souls too. Yet, we could help each other. If you get souls, give them to me only. Always. It is the only right decision to make. Decided to talk to Slim. Search the house. I know one of these options will get me killed. Yeah, I'll talk to Slim. Slim. Decided to ask him about himself. I've been trapped here for a while now. Can't leave the place without souls, and I need them to do that. Asked him about the effect I felt while talking to him. I couldn't quite explain it. Luckily, he understood what I was trying to say. Your spiritism, the price to pay for communicating with the forest's victims, may be deadly if you overdo it. I won't affect it any further if you prove yourself worthy. By that, I mean you are to think through your every decision thoroughly, especially if it's related to souls. I asked him about LD. He suddenly tensed up, so I took a few steps back, expecting an attack, but the distance between us stayed the same somehow. He just let me understand that they didn't get along. Little demon, huh? Fitting name, however. Surely, got to you sooner than you came across me, isn't it so? And surely he tried to convince you to give souls to him. The bastard is not the one you should be listening to. I'll be honest, I'm not aware of his exact intentions, but I am certain those can't be good. Ask him about soul. They are literal human souls. To capture them, you need only awareness and vials. The cursed things are an automatic trap, no matter who the holder is. Creatures? Asked him about how the other creatures this forest is teeming with. There are not only creatures, but also entities. One glance is often enough to tell them apart, at least for the latter. Not sure if creatures are able to distinguish even their own kind. Yet it's complicated to find an intelligent one at all. Oh. Asked him about Moth. I have no idea what he is. He means no harm but provides little utility. Do not ignore him nevertheless. I'm gonna stop there because I am gonna get murdered if I'm not careful. The concentration of gloomy beings in my life was high enough by that time, so I decided to take a look around the house. Can't say it was successful. The slim one glared at me so menacingly that I gave up after the first step. Not too eager to make him any angrier than he already seemed till I decided to leave. I left. Receding woods. I admit it. I'm scared. But the fear subsides at once as I'm confronted with something new. I'm not crazy. I don't understand what's happening. Yet all this whining is not what I'm supposed to write down. I have to record only those things I want to remember and focus on. The events happening to me that may be worth attention. But how can I even be sure that any of this is real? I see things that simply cannot be. Maybe it's the fatigue or more likely another trick this damn place has for me. My head spins, and it only gets worse. Weirdly enough, the surroundings look as usual, just awfully repetitive. At some point, a fox hastily crossed the path and, surprised by my presence, dropped a small wooden sign behind it. Pick up the sign. I decided to pick up the sign, but as I walked closer, it somehow appeared to be even further away from me than before. One couldn't possibly handle such a rapid change of perspective without falling. I tried to get the sign again, but wasn't successful all the same. Kept drifting away with each attempt to reach it. And then the idea came to my mind. Instead of walking toward it, I started to walk backward, and the sign actually grew nearer, close enough to see what was written on it. A set of numbers. 23, 15, 18, 4. Fox sign. 23, 18, 15, 4. I decided to look around. I couldn't. The around was escaping me, shifting and receding constantly with my every step. Nothing usual here. This area is very similar to all the other previous thickets. I braced myself and hurried forward. It was easier to do while looking downward rather than to the sides. Like driving a car. You see a little stick man walking on the wall, doing parkour. Mushroom path. I remember this one. I was nearly knocked off my feet with fear when countless clusters of glowing orange eyes suddenly appeared before me. I thought it was a large gathering of moth lookalikes, ready to lash out at any moment. Except those were only perfectly round mushroom caps, all facing me no matter where they were growing from. And they were, in fact, growing everywhere. Some burst under my steps. The air was musty, probably because of the spores polluting it. I didn't know if those were dangerous, but I thought it would be best to find something to cover my face with before exploring the place. Take a photo. The roots of massive trees, their trunks, as well as the ground, are all dotted with mushrooms. I doubt there's anything else that could be useful. I don't remember if I found anything last time, but I remember when I searched the place, I lost a lot of health because of the mushroom spores. I might die here. I decided to look around for a bit, but didn't find anything except for the mushrooms. I believe they could come in handy, but I shouldn't have stayed there any longer. My thoughts were progressively becoming more and more clouded. Pick the mushrooms. When I started to pick them, my mind went completely blank. The next thing I knew, I was lying face down, slightly away from the path, where there were none, and without any in my backpack too. Really should have found a way to protect myself from the spores. Left. Okay, so in order to get those spores, we need a mask. We don't have, so we'll come back to that some other time. I think there's a bear in this one. I don't really want to fight the bear. So we're gonna... Actually, let's go back to Moth. Can we speak to Moth? I can. I asked him about souls, but he didn't tell me much and said I was supposed to find out the details myself. That is what will become of you in the end. If you remain unwilling to accept the fact, your fate afterward will not be inviolable. The rest is not for me to say. Your outcome depends on how you choose to manage them. So make sure you learn what you can about them first before jumping to conclusions. I asked him about Slim. He approved he was a human before turning into an entity, and said he can't leave the house until he gains through enough strength. He is an entity, a former human transformed after his death in accordance with one of the two possible outcomes. Lucky, most entities are granted higher intelligence, yet unable to leave their transformation place until gaining enough strength. Forest? That's what he could tell me about the forest. I didn't understand a thing he said. I must say, I will never cease to be amazed by the variety of wonders universe provides us all with. It is simply that not everyone is able to observe and appreciate them. Force is a self-replenishable vault. Do not agree. It belongs to nobody, responsible but for one thing: existing. Reality itself shifts constantly here. It tends to change what is intruding, complementing the incomplete, shredding the perfection. I could talk about it all day, but always night, huh? Asked him about the other creatures that this forest is teeming with. Do not judge them too harshly once they seek your attention. What else does one have to do being damned? I'm not trying to have some fun. When the time comes, you will understand. Asked him about the vials. Looks like I can find them anywhere, but should I really? Truth be told, even I do not know where exactly those come from. They appear to be filled, and it just works. Choose wisely who you give them to, if you care about your future here, of course. Okay. Maybe I should sleep. Yeah. Oh, too late. All right. It was no easier to cross the next one either. First, my attention was caught by the gurgling sounds coming from puddles of black, viscous liquid flowing down the tree trunks from somewhere above. Their branches were almost leafless, yet made the sky barely visible. Refill the bottle? I decided to refill my water bottle with the liquid so that later I could examine it more closely in a spare moment. Who knows what use I could find for it. Thanks to the photo, I could make out something else on one of the trees. Numerous recesses ascending like stairs. My attempts to go up were promptly interrupted by a massive clod of substance that fell right on my head, wobbling and jiggling its way out of my grasp until I managed to throw it off me into the tall grass. I jumped down myself. I saw then the ground was covered in cracks, and some small marble-like spheres of the same color started to roll out of them. Crush them? Their number rose dramatically. They merged and soon covered almost the surroundings, making it complicated to move through. That was a strong incentive to leave the place as soon as possible. I left. Okay. Lake of Souls. As I approached the lake, I heard a guttural roar behind me, rapidly growing louder as it got closer. It hit me then that I had completely forgotten to consider the water might attract not just animals, but deadly predators typically found in large wild forests. I spun around only to confirm my chance to act carefully and avoid getting hurt more than I deserved was blown. A huge bear was charging straight at me. Shoot it. I panicked and decided to shoot it. To find a gun before that encounter was convenient, to say the least. The bear didn't even flinch. It was already too close to me, so I braced myself for the impact. But it ran past me, dived straight into the water, and disappeared under its surface after a few seconds. This scene shook me. It all felt like a distant memory, hastily fading away even then. Approached the lake. Actually, I might die here, as I didn't think about my sanity. I thought that must have been the lake the little demon was talking about. I walked up to the water and felt my backpack grow heavy. One of the vials has changed. Was a soul captured in it? I wasn't sure. I didn't do anything to make it happen. I knew nothing about it then. I examined the vial closely. I had expected it to be filled with something glowing, or at least light in appearance. But its just contents were pitch black and smoky, reminiscent of the silhouettes surrounding me, which had vanished before I could catch a clear glimpse of them. I searched for more, but there were none left. Maybe I could return here later. Both LD and Slim appear eager to get their hands on them. And if they really know how to escape this place, maybe I should give this one away to... Since when do I listen to some beings beyond my comprehension anyway? Relying on a crazy old man's help doesn't seem an appealing option to me either. Damn Moth. What's his problem? I already spent too much time wandering around. I have to make up my mind at some point. Nothing seems off here. I have no idea what could have lured the bear in. What about souls? Could humans be susceptible to the thing as well? I feel fine for now. Another one. I had to leave. And I left. So this is where the demo closed. So from here on out, I have no idea what's going to be on the road to redemption, I guess. But I have a soul. So now I kind of want to see what happens when I do this. I didn't get a chance to last time. I put a vial in a pit, and it immediately disappeared, sinking into the sand. Nothing else happened. Why would I even do that? Another vial gone. I should stop doing that. It's a damn pain in the ass to find those. Got to put another piece. Another piece of Polaroid. That's enough. Alright. It was a waste. Okay. Alright, what was that? Oh, I don't understand what the point of that was, but okay. Well, we did that. Feel accomplished. Let's not do that yet, because he'll smell the souls. We don't want to give the heroin addict just his drugs just yet. Slim. I asked Rob what he knew about Slim. After thinking a little, he said, "Ain't sure about that one. You keep befriending all kinds of folks instead of seeking a way out, aren't you?" I asked Rob about soul vials. He waved his arms and said, "I knew those pups were up to something deadly. Don't you tell me you brought some of those bottles with you. You crazy? What if my soul gets trapped? Didn't you think about that?" I did not, no. I hide in the bushes, aiming at something I can't see. The fired bullet triggers a trap door, revealing a shadow pit with a detailed map of a way out of the forest. I lean in, tracing the path with my finger, trying to memorize it in case I lose the map. But I keep getting distracted and have to start over multiple times. When I finally reach its end, I realize that my finger is no longer on the map. It's leaving a long trail on the ground. I try to figure out what happened and where I am, but all I can see are the countless trails around, each one left by me. Oh wow, we're already in September. In September. Rob, we're going to eat tonight. Hello. So here is my issue. We have one soul vial. We know these are human souls. Do we want to give it to the monsters, or do we want to hold off? Him, I'm sure he knows a way, but he's not. I just feel like LD's not going to be our friend. And I don't think Slim's all that good either. So I feel like when Slim's trapped in the house, and when he gets strong enough to leave the house, he may cause some, well, disasters. I really feel like we shouldn't do anything until we get more details on what these souls actually are for. So, guess we'll continue. Oh, I captured some souls. Filled vial +2. I'm not afraid. Stars were made for falling. And I left. So if I didn't use the vials, I probably could have had enough to give to one of them already. We'll come along some vials, hopefully. My biggest issue is almost out of Polaroid. Not looking too good. Oh. 23, 15, 18, 4. Set of numbers from the sign of Fox drop. What could it mean? Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know yet. I decided to talk to him. He said not to avert my eyes from the truth, or else I'd be doomed or something like that. I can't remember everything. Deep entrapped those rejecting evidence signs, forest of words. Should you be a curious soul, employ your eyes to their fullest, but never avert them from the truth. After taking a photo, I noticed an untouched case hidden under the debris of similar cases, emptied and damaged almost beyond recognition, and a rocky structure further ahead. I opened the case. Luckily, it was easy enough. Apart from useless soaked wet paper sheets, there were 2 useless rotting passports, an Austrian and Italian one. Some vials. What kind of aircraft crashed here? It was not an aircraft. The rocky structure was an entrance to a mine. The way further in was blocked by its collapsed walls, with a lone cart standing in front of the debris. Something inside it was making noises, like an object being repeatedly dragged along the wood. Sure. The thing in the cart was mostly formless, smoke-like. But I noticed it was hiding a box in its slender gray hands. The flash also aligned something right next to my feet. In the ground. Wooden boards formed an uneven square on the ground, similar to a sandbox, but with small human bones instead of toys scattered in it. Doubt there's a use for those. I tried to talk to him and asked about the box. He refused to explain anything and definitely won't allow me to have it. Maybe I could exchange it for something. Who are you? I wasn't expecting you. Go away. Stop hissing. It's mine. You're in the grove. I think it's a child. Yeah, that's... Yeah. It looks like there's a secret right here, too. Weeping moss. My footsteps grew silent, and I felt almost weightless as the soil and everything around me gradually became covered in moss. It'd be a nice place to rest if only it weren't for the constant crying. It came from all sides, and never determined its source. I want to remember that I'm confused or scared, but I am not. I am not confused and not scared. If I want to escape, I have to play along with what this forest offers me. I don't care how weird things might get. All of a sudden, the black fog permeating the place rose higher above the ground, forming an elongated smoky cloud. It opened my backpack. I managed to react before it could snatch anything, and it flew away. I'm starting to get sick of this already. Moss everywhere, nothing else. I jumped as someone crawled out from under a layer of it and immediately turned back. Suddenly aware of my presence when he waved at me eagerly. I understood it was LD. Oh, he's back. Took a photo of him to see what he had to say. Apparently he thought I should try robbing the fog in return. Then he patted me on the shoulder with his surprisingly heavy hand and rushed off. Big bad cloud tried to take your stuff. Sometimes it's the other way around. You should try. Share some with me later, of course. That's what friends do, right? I decided to look around, even though my vision was blurry for some reason. That's exactly why I tripped over a piece of wood. Almost wasn't mad about the fall. was at least mildly useful. When I lifted the log, I found a sheet of paper with a pencil sketch of some trees. Branches had been nearly torn from it. La tarde aquí y ahora. Which translates to afternoon. I couldn't resist the temptation to lie down for a bit. The moss was soft. The longer I lay there, the more visible the sky and stars became. The damn crying kept me from truly resting. I left. Blue forest. The part of the forest lay bathed in bluish shades. Beads of water were forming on the grass and the trees' bark. Slowly soaring into the sky, the ground under one of the trees, a large weeping willow, seemed to be dry. There are some distinct bushes with small, dark berries among the grass. Ooh. Alright, well, we're doing it. Yeah, I kind of figured. The harvest was bountiful. I nearly died. I decided to shelter myself from all the water drops under the willow. As I approached it, I crushed something under my foot. It was a small mirror. Thought it must have been there for a reason. Uh-oh. Ah, we're playing a mirror game. Doom doom. Gonna play the mirror. Play the mirror game. Gonna play the Perfect. Luckily, it could still be reconstructed. As I lifted it, I noticed a hollow in the willow out of the corner of my eye. It was empty all the way up to the treetop, so I placed the mirror inside. The reflection illuminated an inscription scratched into the bark. It had been written backwards originally, but in the mirror it read, "Where trees grow tall and nothing blocks the view to see the picture fully. Entangle the accessible and ignore the woods, teaching to wake the sleeping." Is that a riddle? It is not. Can't even... Alright, I gotta write that whole thing down. Alright, so it's... Where trees grow tall and nothing blocks the view to see the picture fully. To wake this. Alright, do that for now. And I left. This place again. Approach the funnel. As I approached the funnel's edge, a squirrel jumped down in front of me. The vines instantly surrounded and tore it apart, pulling parts of its body under the thick layer of vegetation. Didn't even have time to react. I had to cross the area, and since the tree was untouched, I landed on it first. The only way forward. Ow. On my way up, the vines almost twisted the hell out of my legs. Surprisingly, all my joints were still in place after I broke free. Polaroid paper. I asked Moth if he had any Polaroid paper. He said he'd give it to me if I let him increase my spiritism level. Oh. Indeed. I'm capable of providing you with that. However, I must require that you sacrifice your spiritism in return. By sacrifice, I mean to increase its level. 1/2 of what your body can endure should be enough. Oh. Alright. Oh, I can't say no. I can't say yes. Maybe because it's too low. Maybe I have to get sleep first. Oh. The Polaroid paper Moth gave me matched my camera perfectly. It wasn't supposed to work this way, but somehow it did. Here. Each one of the photographs a puzzle piece in the enigma of forest. Though they serve as your instrument to hear the unfortunates, your camera behaves, for the most part, in an ordinary manner. Are you certain that journal of yours is truly yours? Do not mind me. Merely being curious. Okay. How much do we get for that? I don't think we got any. I think we got one out of that. Alright. Oh, we got 5. Oh, wow. We were really low. Rob said, if you want to sleep here, go for it. I'll still be here when you wake up. Hopefully staying here won't last too long since we're searching for a way out. Right? I walk through the forest with Moth, passing a cliff, a swamp, moving through thorny plants. I feel safe as long as he's near. He keeps disappearing and returning. In a clearing of tall grass and bushes, he warns me about snakes before disappearing again. Can't see anything under my feet at first. When I finally make out the glare of scales and snake eyes surrounding me, I dash to climb a tree. Each one breaks under my weight until I find one sturdy enough. Before long, something wraps around my arm, and I fall into the snakes below. Instead of hitting the ground, I land in a dark, damp place. I'm trying to move as space brightens. I am a fang of a giant snake, biting into thick, impenetrable skin. With each crunch, the snake fails, and I shatter piece by piece. Oh, my health hat didn't go up this time. That's no bueno. See, it still says... Oh, and that's where the rain is, though. Oh. So when I answered it, it circled it, which means it's correct, which means this is wrong. Okay, so this was a cipher. Sky. Oh, it's sky. Turn your back, look away, and blink. I thought darkness, because when you blink, it's dark. I'm always closer than you think, because darkness outsources light. I hold the stars, the moon, and the fright. The darkness, the galaxy darkness. In the galaxy, dark, can't really see nothing. Above your head in my eternal night, dark. But no, it's sky, I guess that makes sense. The answer is sky, and then the set of numbers, the sign was a word. That's great. I'm confused though, because it says word, but what is the word? I don't... Because it literally spells out word. Alright. Oh. I stood in front of the largest apple tree I'd ever seen. It wasn't bent nearly in half, so I could still reach its crown. One branch was broken on the ground, its base glowing with a slow, measured sparkle. A spent signal flare. Casing lay nearby. I'm gonna pick the apple. I decided to pick an apple. It wasn't exactly edible. It was made of plastic. I checked again. It had been growing directly from the tree. It was definitely alive. Curious, I reached for another one. This time it had a wooden texture. The next apple was glass-like, its surface foggy. I threw it on the ground and it shattered. I gasped. The next one I picked was a ruby apple. The next thing I did was pluck a few apples at once. They were made of emerald and diamond. I hesitated to take any with me. I could easily lose them, especially with everyone in the forest wanting me dead. I hid them between the roots. I thought I could return there someday. Aside from what I mentioned earlier, the tree looks like any other ordinary tree. It's healthy but quite old. Decided to leave. Okay, well. That felt like a waste of time. Walking along a shore, I discovered what appeared to be an abandoned fishing spot. A fishing rod was fixed to a tree trunk, its line cast into the water. Reel in the line. I decided to check if there was something on the hook and reeled it in the line. There was something, an old squeaky leather boot to be exact. I took it with me. I gave fishing a try. To my surprise, I caught something useful after all. I got an apple. Well, luck can't last forever. I was persistent. Maybe too persistent. I pulled a juice pack labeled Big Blood out of the water. It was sealed. When I opened it, it was empty. In the end, the line snapped under the weight of something I couldn't see. Fortunately, the flash didn't help me see how deep the river was or if there was anything under the muddy water. See, so if I did the Polaroid picture, I would have been able to see something. I left. Hey, at least we completed the apple trick. Oh, I got 1 apple, not 5. Why would I put the apple in the pit if I know nothing happens? Okay. I put an apple in the pit, and it immediately disappeared, sinking to the sand. Nothing else happened. Alright. Well, there goes my apple. I decided to look up at the sky. Saw something I should have not have. It's in the sky. Was it a demon? Okay. Starting to notice that these little extra bits don't really gain me anything. There's just something fun to do. Maybe. I handed Rob the boot I'd found at the abandoned fishing spot, asking if he knew anything about it. He grabbed it eagerly and said, "Would you look at that? I did lose this one so long ago. I did just accept it." Then we both looked down. He was, in fact, already wearing 2 boots. He then added, "Would you look at that now? Seems I've already found this boot you brought me somewhere else. Well, you never know when you're gonna need another one, so I'll keep it, buddy. Much obliged." And, unbothered, sat back on the wood box. I hear a heated argument, swearing followed by screaming. Among the voices, one is my own. I refuse to grasp the reason. It always lingers in my back of my mind, but I only focus on the bigger picture. I leave the high-rise, slamming the door so hard the glass shatters. The entire building follows, breaking into shards, piercing the space around me. Blackness seeps through the cracks as if flowing down a wall, revealing the forest beyond. I don't have time to glimpse the fading city. I'm blinded by the noise. I've been drowning in it for a long time. I see a bright flash. Alright, let's go back to the soul swamp. Is heaven still above? Crying's still here, the fog too, so I better think quickly about what to do before I lose anything. Confront the fog. Oh, I got a whole bunch back. I said to confront the fog before it noticed me. We looked at each other for a while before it dispersed into thin air. If I'm not the only one it's after, might be able to find more useful things around here later. Nice. Got my apple back. Secret. Forest. Walking along a shore, I discovered what appeared to be an abandoned Oh, that was the... Oh, I didn't know that was the secret. Oh. Dumb. I should have snapped a picture before I did anything because I didn't realize where I was at. Ooh, alright. Moving on. Temple. The vegetation grew thicker and taller as I went on. The smell of the damp earth and decay grew stronger too. In the end, I saw a structure resembling some sort of ancient temple in front of me. Something flickered inside. Okay. I decided to look around the temple for a bit and ended up in a trap. Whatever that pointy thing was. Who in the actual hell would set it in here? To my surprise, right after that, an apple rolled to my feet out of nowhere. Guess I deserved it. This joke of a fruit. Take a photo. Trying to capture the entire building, I stood near the entrance and took a photo. My guess was correct. The flash illuminated everything within the frame. Even objects hidden behind others. Vines grew between almost every brick of the temple, both inside and outside, as if trying to cover it completely. Trigger the trap again. I'm gonna die. I looked around at the temple and noticed numerous Polaroids scattered across the ground. When I gathered them, it became clear that they were fragments of a single complete picture. Oh. Oh, it's a key. I mean, I'm actually really intrigued now. I mean, I know it's a key, but how I can't. Now, it wasn't as dark inside, and I noticed the vines had all grown toward one direction, deeper into the temple's interior. I followed the vines, and a glint of light caught my eye again. It came from the top of an archway and vanished the moment I discovered it. A leather-bound journal was lying there, quite similar to mine. Oop. I gave it a shot and climbed up to get the journal, but the damn bricks were slippery and loose, and I fell. I climbed up to the journal again and fell, unable to even touch the cover. Maybe it's for the best. The pillar's top was covered in thorny vines anyways. Foothills. I found myself at the base of a hill way sooner than intended. There wasn't the slightest indication on the map that the temple stood right before a precipice. I've fallen and I can't get back up. No idea how I'll do it, but, well, that's a problem for my future self to worry about. I can barely make it out. Large cloth tangled with natural debris on the ground. I tried to identify what it was and saw that the cloth was actually one of the old collapsed tents. How old? I'm not sure. I doubt any attempt at deduction makes sense in here. If it's another camp, there's definitely a chance to find something useful. Now that it's slightly less dark, I could look around for any traces of those who, for some reason, abandoned this place. I searched the tents. For a moment, I was ready to give up trying because of the degree of the mess, but after a few additional splinters to my hands, I sensed a glass texture against my skin. Among the pieces of shattered vials, I found a letter. Put down the journal. I'm sorry I left before you returned. Writing this to let you know that I love you and I miss you. I really, really want you to come back, and I'm sorry I didn't wait for you. And I know you're angry, but when you read this, can you please come back? I love you and I miss you. Please come back. Oh. I searched around carefully, making sure to avoid anything sharp enough to pierce my shoes. Little did I know, hidden under the debris was a damn bear trap. Almost as if I'd been placed there on purpose. When its jaw snapped shut around my leg, somehow it didn't break. Though the damage was bad, it still hurts. I managed to break free. The trap just fell apart after that. Left. Okay, so that really wasn't even worth it. Oh. As I returned to the temple, I noticed a familiar silhouette standing under the front arch. It was Moth, facing the interior and slowly gesturing as if talking to someone. I was too far away to hear anything, not that I would have been able to anyway. He turned around and bowed to me slightly and headed away. I caught up to him and asked what he was talking about with whoever it was, but he didn't tell me and just kept going. Wasn't too keen anyway. About nothing much. Huh. Oh. I confronted the fog again. Once it dispersed, I was able to search the place. Hey, we have 5. Okay, that worked out. All right, let's go back to Rob with the apples. I brought Rob 5 apples. He hid them in a wooden box and tossed a few vials at my feet, most shattered. Rob said, "Knew you were tough. No idea what those are for, but consider it your reward. Now, more serious matters. See, back when I could get around easily, I often stumbled upon things others left behind. Clothes, letters, trinkets. Even found a camera once. You should find as many of them as you can. But don't bring any here, for God's sake. I'm not running a store. Just describe them, and we'll start a little investigation. Others escaped long ago, but no one came back for me. What if they left some clues?" The idea didn't sound too bad. Maybe I could figure out why I was just as unlucky. I need to thoroughly search every place visited. Talk to Moth. Some things never change. People cling to weapons, hoping those shall save them. Yet they always forget that in their hands lies the very cause of their doom. I asked Moth if he knew anything about the letter I'd found at the Foothills. He told me to ask others, as if I'm just supposed to know who the addressee is. Did you read it, assuming it was meant for you? Or was this the place where you had left one before? Curious soul. I once spoke with the author face to face, yet the letter's intent and contents elude me now. I cannot spare my attention for recalling them, as it is presently fixed upon you. Perhaps another acquaintance of yours may guide you closer to the truth. Someone who, too, has long been at Forest's mercy. Good question. I haven't talked to I haven't talked to Slim or LD lately, so let's talk to LD first. You really gotta hurry the hell up with those souls, you know. I asked LD if he knew anything about the letter I'd found at the Foothills. He snatched it from my hands, read it hastily, then threw it back on my chest. Man, I can't fucking believe it. I've been searching for this letter for so many damn years, and now you just bring it to me? Except mine most definitely said that you're an imbecile. Get to work already, lazy ass. Alright. Asked him about Slim. What? You really fell for that. How do you like me best? Right now in front of you, or back then in the house? Or are you still not sure? Gotta come up with more pretty faces. Though I need a mask of my own for that. I asked LD if, by any chance, he had some Polaroid papers. He didn't. From fucking where? Actually, I do. One piece will cost you 20 souls. A nice deal. It's pretty fair. Alright. Asked about the Lake of Souls. And what else you need to know? Lake's a gold mine, and we gotta make the most of it. And don't pity the poor unfortunate souls. We save them. I left. Running out of Polaroids. Not looking good. I asked Slim if he knew anything about the letter I'd found at the Foothills. He took it from me, skeptical at first, but his expression quickly changed after reading just a few lines. I could swear I almost heard him gasp, but the souls around us seemed agitated too, hiding from his gaze. After I answered all his questions, he said only that he'd read it later, but he never let it out of his hands until I left. It's... you... You found it? Where? How? What made you bring it to me? The Moth? I will never be able to understand him. I will read it later. Asked him about Rob. Never met or heard about such. Keep in mind, I cannot leave this house. Asked if he knew how to escape the forest. Listen, you cannot. You choose to either worsen or ease your pain during death. What comes after it? And it is in my power to make yours less gruesome. There is no escape. You're doomed. All right, well, that was absolutely useless, but I guess it was for Slim, judging by his face, his reaction. All right, I think we did some good things. I think we could save our progress. Asked Rob if he had any ideas about what I could do without my cam, since I had almost no Polaroid paper left. He nodded enthusiastically and said, "You won't believe this, buddy, but I've got that paper on me. Lots of it. I keep finding it all around the forest. If you want it, give me some treats first. Starving out here." Ah, so I can trade apples for full Polaroid pictures. I see now. It's all starting to make sense. I'm at an airport, flipping through a magazine from a nearby table. At first, it's filled with trivial ads and articles, but then the pages shift into morgue reports, police files, and portraits of missing persons. Their faces match the people around me. I don't want them to blame me for their death, so I leap up to warn them. But they're already beyond the boarding gate. The space stretches, and I find myself in a souvenir shop. In the center, a tiny installation catches my eye. A model of trees with an airplane resting on their crowns. A sign beneath it reads, "Not a real human being. Not a real hero." Something shoves me. I hurtle through the empty cabin of a fallen plane, smash through the windshield, and plummet to the forest below. Well, that was weird. I left. I'm still trying to figure out like the piece behind this place. Maybe I'm trying to figure out the story because I still don't know very much yet. I'm still learning, but I think we still have plenty to go, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13, 14. We still have 15 more spots to go. Still plenty to do. Oh. I rearranged the photos, and just as I realized they depicted a key, something strange happened. It seemed to transform, shrinking, until it was replaced by an actual metal key. It left. Okay. Yeah, see, the fog just keeps giving us more apples and vials we can use to eat. We can also trade the apples for Polaroids. I took an apple from my backpack and handed it to Rob. He clapped his hands and said, "What's the occasion?" "Actually, don't tell me. Today we feast, buddy. Good job. Great job." Then he ate it all by himself. Okay. Well, I'm glad I can do that, buddy. How many? I have 9. One more filled vial, and we can probably do both. It's all coming together. All right. Well, I guess we can continue then. Tartarus. Further ahead, even stranger things were happening. Pieces of soil and fallen leaves hovered slightly above the ground, drifting in one direction. In contrast, I felt too heavy. Something was wrong. I couldn't make out even the faintest silhouettes of what was in front of me. Only a rupture formed by darkness. The hell is this supposed to be? The vast abyss rips through the air before the hill. It's difficult to keep looking at. I'd call this place Tartarus. Let it know I recognize its might. Maybe then it'll stop luring me in so persistently. I looked around, trying not to get too close to that thing. That part of the forest felt not just deserted, but tragically abandoned. Finally, one of the floating rocks near a distinct gap in the hillside caught my eye. It had a set of dots carved on its surface. Still can't do anything with the dots yet. I think I need like a cipher, maybe? Like a paper that covers the holes that I can draw on, maybe? Doesn't look like I can do anything with this. I approached the gap. It was a narrow cave leading down. I wouldn't risk descending without any idea of what lay ahead, but I saw no other way to bypass the rupture. Maybe Rob will know how. He gave me this map after all, unless I run into the others first. I don't want to get any closer without knowing exactly what that is. The only way is back. I could ask the others what they know. Alright, this is it. We now have 10 souls. So, let's go to Rob, let's save, and then let's go do this soul thing and see what happens. First off, talk to him about Tartarus. I asked Rob if he knew how to bypass the Tartarus rupture. He said, "Oh right, silly me to forget to give you the key along with the map. They're pretty much useless on their own. Guess the same goes for us, huh? Anyway, let's see first if you'll be able to handle that. Answer me this. What did the fox say while crossing the road?" Word. I answered a word, because that's what I thought the sign the fox dropped earlier meant. He crossed his arms and said, "Keep your wits about you, boy. True tests never end. Here, take the key. Going through the only way past the abyss. Don't forget to always go east. Go. Go now." Why'd he get offended all of a sudden? Unlike him, I wasn't joking. He gave me a pocket compass. For some reason, the north direction of it is swapped with the east one. East is up. The borrowed paper Rob gave me matched my camera perfectly. It wasn't supposed to work this way, but somehow it did. Hey, we got a pocket compass now, though. And the temple key, which I still don't know what that's for. Get some sleep. I'm driving his car with him sleeping in the seat next to me. The road stretches through empty fields bathed in the cold dawn light. The radio crackles loudly, the sound more reminiscent of someone being strangled. I listen until the car stops. I step out. Something grabs my leg and drags me face down along the asphalt. It releases me in the forest. I sit up, picturing my damaged face. When I reach for it, it falls into my hands and crumbles. I see Slim sitting by the fire. I move toward him, but sprouts erupt from the ground, racing ahead. Some entangled and pinned me to a tree. Slim and the camp are torn to pieces in an instant. I fall to my knees and realize there was never a tree or sprouts restraining me, only the grip of my own hands bruising my skin. I was standing still the whole time. I am so confused, but okay. For some odd reason, I feel like these monsters or creatures are evil. They just been in the forest for too long and now are just forced to... I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and do it the fun way. Alright, give the souls to LD. I decided to follow my gut and help LD first. Something feels off about Slim, and LD acts way more human. Besides, I need to get out of here, and he's the only one claiming to know how. I approached the demon and handed him the filled soul vials. He looked genuinely surprised, staring at me in disbelief for a few seconds before snatching them from me, eagerly but still carefully, and then pressing them to his chest. Not just that, he placed them inside it. His ribs were partly exposed. I couldn't see the organs clearly, but there was enough empty space for him to do exactly that. He then casually demanded the same number of souls so I could meet a certain princess. Knew I could count on ya. It was easy, right? It just gets a hella repetitive over time. Still, it's not enough to lead you to the princess not yet. Bring me 5 more. Go. Show me your motivation. The closer you're to escaping, the more you'll need. Princess. I asked him what exactly souls were meant for. They can't do shit. Only wait till they become someone who can. And make sure to provide them with comfortable conditions, enough to make them grateful, enough to help me keep my head straight. I asked him if he knew where more soul sources could be found. I comb the forest inside out all the time for more of them. You really should too, lazy butt. You'll know it when you come across one, no doubt. Specifically having the damn map. No way. You even drew me there. Tee. Oh, he will draw you, but who will draw you? I guess give him 5 more vials. I was ready to hand over the souls I'd captured to LD, but he said he wouldn't accept them until I completed a few additional tasks. The first was to cut out someone's eyes at the place he mentioned and bring them to him. I figured I'd give it at least a try. He was so insistent, what the hell? Yeah, not so fast. I'm starting to think the task's too easy for you. How about a few more then? You already visited the swamp. Owls won't quit gawking, and what for? Could use another pair of eyes. Cut one out for me, will ya? Anyone. Asked him if he knew about how to bypass the Tartarus rupture. What? Can't you just jump in? Okay. Making me real disappointed here. Let's go back here and cut out someone's eyes. Alright. As I approached the lake, I realized a soul was following me. I had to double check it was one because somehow it didn't get captured, even though it was close enough. I definitely had at least one empty vial. I asked what that was all about, but it didn't even flinch. When I reached the lake, it soared off in the opposite direction. I hope this hurts like hell. Oh! I returned to the house, but this time Slim wasn't as composed as before. I guess he was angry because he somehow found out I gave the souls to LD, not to him. He didn't even give me a chance to say anything. I'd rather not take any more risk than I already have. You don't get to decide. Alright, let's give the souls to Slim, see what happens. After thinking it through, I decided Slim was more trustworthy than LD, so I helped him first. Even though his presence felt way more menacing, I just hoped there was still something human left in him. When I gave him the filled soul vials, he examined them closely, gripping them in one hand, large enough to easily hold so many. Then all of a sudden, he smashed them on the floor. A look of disappointment on his face. From the shards, a few dim, faceless silhouettes rose, glancing back at us before darting into the other room. I was afraid I'd done something wrong, but he explained that's how souls are supposed to be freed. He asked me to bring 5 more. Don't let the sight deceive you. I simply freed the ones trapped inside. I take it you've chosen my side. For now. A lot of work to do, but the main task remains the same. 5 more souls. Think you can handle that? Oh. Okay, so if we go with Slim, that's the good ending. If we go with LD, that's the bad ending. Because he eats the souls. He frees them. Maybe. That or he's, actually, I don't know. Because as soon as I figured that Slim was going to be more of a human person because of the note we gave him. I felt a bit relieved when I managed to bring him the souls, but the feeling didn't last long. He said it was just the beginning. Before shattering the vials, he examined this set as carefully as he did the first. For some reason, once again visibly disappointed. One step closer to each of our aims. The more souls I have, the sooner I'll be able to move freely throughout the forest. That is my main concern. As for yours, a few additional tasks must still be completed. Oh. Wait, I don't know who to choose. I mean, I guess we'll go with Slim. Because I don't know who the princess is. Because if Slim wants to move freely, right? And he says he knows a way out, but we need to meet the princess. Interesting. Okay, well, there you go. And without further ado, thank you all so much for watching this episode of Contra Spem Spero. Now, this is the post-completion of the game, and I just wanted to let you guys know to stick with this, because this is one of those phenomenal styled horror games. And they don't try to hit you with cheap jump scares. They try to build the anticipation, the narrative, the horror genre that a lot of other games try not to underline. The thing about this is that you have to continue to play a little bit deeper into the game for you to finally start to understand things and figure out the whole mechanics of the game. where some parts you can gain more resources for Polaroids or Spiritism to minimize that, or to gain apples to restore your health and so forth. But you have to sacrifice one to gain the other. Without spoilers, the story gets insane the closer you get to the end, so just bear with it. Anyways, enough said. Without further ado, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in another episode. Adios, and goodbye.